All right. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you might be streaming from today. Welcome to the live ebook launch of A Shepherdess Beaten But Not Broken. We are so excited to be here with Deb, our author, who is debuting her first book. And I know it's not going to be her last, but we
Mm-mm.
are excited to be here with her to share in this amazing moment and this amazing launch. And the first thing I want everybody to do is go and download the book right now. We just put the link in the chat. It's right there. It's bit.ly/shepherdess25. And so that will take you directly to the ebook. And I know some of you may have already pre ordered the paperback. And yes, we want you to have both. Why? You can sit and curl up with your tea or coffee and read the book. But the ebook is what drives our best selling strategy and best selling categories. So we want you to download the ebook as well, right? And so it's only $3.99 for the ebook. So we want you to download the ebook today. Between now, we have 1 hour, right, where we can get all the sales that we can get so that we can push her on the bestsellers list and the hot new release category because this book deserves to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So we are so excited. We are so excited. And this is what I want you guys to do as you come in the room. Once you download your book, I want you to come back and post in the chat, I got mine. All right. So as you download your book, come back in the chat and say, I got mine, because we have some giveaways today as well. So we want you to participate in the giveaways as well. Okay. All right, Miss Deb, how do you feel? First of all, before I have Debbie say anything, I want to introduce my partner, Leslie. Yes, she is my COO of Victorious You Press, but she has done a lot to get Debbie on this platform and to get Debbie here today. And I'm so happy we're doing it with her. Leslie, how are you, my love? It's so great to see you.
Oh, it's so good to see you, and it's so good to see you, Deb. And I'm doing great. I'm just a buzz. I'm so excited for Deb. I'm so proud of Deb. And the last thing I did before we went live was grab a tissue because I don't know. This book's a powerhouse. I may find myself getting lost, so I wanted to be prepared. But this hour, this launch is all about you, Deb, and we are so thrilled and honored to celebrate you, your incredible hard work.
Yes, yes. And we want to just say hello to Ruth Ann today for being on with us. Please drop your name in the chat. Please make a comment, because when you make your comments, we can see that you are here. So if you're watching today, please just say hello, say congratulations to Deb, say I am here, so we can see your name and we can recognize you, right? Because if you don't, we won't know that you are watching. I'm going to do something. I'm going to go to my page and I am going to, I am going to share my broadcast to the group, Books to Business and Beyond, so that we can be, broadcasting in the group as well. Join us for this amazing launch. So I'm going to do that so that people in the group can see it. All right, it's posting and it is posted. All right, so we are on my Facebook page. We're in the Facebook group. We are on YouTube. And if you guys are watching me right now, if you just look at the bottom of the screen, there is an arrow that says share. Just share this to your page. And so we will be broadcasting at that point on multiple pages. All right. So that's what we want you to do. Now, before I ask anything of this amazing author, I want you to take a moment and watch this trailer. All right. So we're going to bring the trailer on stage. There we go.
Escaping abusive parents, she ran away from her family's farm as a teen, then began raising her own prize-winning sheep. For decades, her father was bent on making her fail, but she never gave up. Even after losing everything, she rose from the ashes. An inspirational story about making your dreams come true through grit, determination, passion, and faith. A Shepherdess Beaten but Never Broken by Debbie Jo Holmquist.
Yay! So amazing. So amazing. So amazing. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you so much for joining. Tammy said, I'm here. Congrats, Deb, from Tammy. Just downloaded. I can't wait. Yay, Tammy. Hey, Charmaine, you are here as well. Charmaine just downloaded the book. I love it. All right. Awesome. I love it. I love it. All right. So I want to turn the screen or whatever we want to do. And we are going to let Deb take it away. Deb, tell us how you feel in this moment.
I feel extremely grateful and honored to be here at this moment. And I cannot go any further until I start with Victorious U Press, Joan, and Leslie and Charmaine. I just can't speak any further until I give you all the accolades that you all so deserve. You're unsurpassed in this industry.
Wow.
You talk about polished. I sincerely polished professionals. You're all best-selling authors yourself. Your support and friendship and love has meant the absolute world to me. I couldn't have done the story without any of you. I can't imagine a writer contacting anyone other than Victorious U Press to take you to the heavens. You are all just simply amazing. There's no one better out there, and I love you all. And new authors and writers, you will love Victorious U Press. There's no one better out there. There's just not. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything you've done, for believing in my story, for Leslie day one, believing in my story and coaching me and, telling me to write the book, and for Joan to go the 100 extra miles you've gone for the length of my book and the pictures and the cover, and just for believing in me. And then dear Charmaine, that has sprinkled gold dust on my story. Like, I'm getting choked up already.
Yeah,
talking about
I'm getting choked up
because I'm so grateful that God put you in my life, and you guys are the best there is. There's no other publisher out there. Victorious U Press. You're God's gift to writers.
Thank you so much. That means so. Oh my
God. That's from my heart. I would not be here without any of you. Would not.
Thank you.
You're the best, and I love you all dearly.
Thank you for saying that, Tammy. Thank you. Yeah. You know what, Leslie, when this process all started, I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk to Debbie about the writing process of this book.
Awesome. That's exactly what I wanted to talk to you about. First of all, I'm curious, and I know that other authors are curious, and I know authors to be are curious to know, outside of our working together, what what was your personal process? Were you a wee hours of the morning writer? Were you a night owl writer? Were you a weekend writer? Or were you fly by the seat of your pants, write when you're inspired writer?
A little bit of everything, I think, really.
Yeah.
I did a lot at night. Sometimes I'd be up till 1 or 2 in the morning writing when it's quiet. Um, just a little bit of everything. Uh, funniest part, my husband Bruce was such an instrumental coach to me for this, and we would sit outside at night and chat, and I would tell him different events in my life, and he would say, "You need to put that in your book." And so I would go in the house, and I'd write the different chapters, and I was all proud of myself. I had a chapter written and I would give it to him, all proud, and he'd read it and he'd say, "This is no good. I don't know what you're feeling. You owe it to your readers, to get into more detail. Get back in the office and write." So I'd go in for a couple more hours and redo it and then take it back out. And then he'd read it and he'd say, "This is really good." So he helped me through so much of that. But, a little bit of everything, really. A lot at night, when it's quiet and that.
And you and I talked a lot about the depth that you had to get get the real story out. And we talked about the need to give yourself grace. And when you hit those tough spots, there would be times when you would want to put it down, walk away, do some self-care. Was that helpful to you in the writing to sort of have that permission to know that the extra time it would take to let it set and just rest for a while you took care of yourself? Was that helpful to you?
Sure it was. So many emotions, when writing about your young childhood. Like, I did a little research the other day, and the statistics were amazing. 50% of people that are abused never report it, never say a word about it, never talk about it. Children, on the average, they're 24 years in their head or carrying that in their heart before they speak about it. Like, I never realized that. So it was very difficult to, sit down and write some of those very painful chapters. And there would be times, I would just put my head on my desk and I would sob. One of the greatest things was accepting the hurt from the very people that are supposed to nurture you when you're little. And it changes you forever. It's like sometimes your family can hurt you more than any other humans. And I'm 67 years old and I still yearn for a mother, a mom that wanted me and loved me. And, they're both passed away now, but you never get over the fact that you always want a mom. I look at some friends of mine and say, "Gosh, I wish you were my mom." You could just lay your head on their chest and they'd stroke your hair and, love you like a daughter. And so I still never got over that. I probably never will. So that those yearning feelings, as I wrote, and then in some details that, I shared. Ooh. You guys know I have such a heart for my animals. And when I was little, my sheep and my baby lambs and my kittens, those were everything to me. And chapter in the book, my father killed my favorite baby lamb, Porgy. And when I got done writing that chapter, I sobbed and I had to stop for the rest of the day. And my husband, Bruce, he can't even read that chapter a second time. I've had sheep all my life, thousands. So why did that one little bottle lamb from 60 years ago, still hurts, and, my kittens, my mother would kill my kittens, and then tell me how she did it, or do it in front of me and explain to me how they died. And, it's just some real traumatic things that were, very hard to recall. And then, the physical and mental abuse that I endured, being told I was never good enough, that I never would be good enough, that I'd never raise sheep again without their help. And I guess to sum it up, I'm going to be frank because that's what I've been in my book. My father was just downright mean, but my mother was just downright emotionally evil and just absent, just totally absent as a mom. And you never get over that. And I think that's why I have such a connection, still to my animals, is because I know how it feels, wanting somebody to love you and show you affection. And my sheep and my kitties, and my family now, of course, allow me to do that. So I give them the love and affection that I wished I had had.
Of course you do.
So that
yes.
Yeah.
And you took a very painful lifetime up to a certain point, and from that you dug deep and you wrote this book. And this book will be beyond inspirational to people. I think inspirational is not nearly deep enough a word for what it will do for others. But we would love to know, what was it within you, Debbie, that had the grace and the grit to dig so deeply that you're willing to tell your story knowing how you can impact other lives?
Oh gosh. I guess, it may sound, like everybody says, but God saved my life. I trusted God even when I was little. I didn't know who else to turn to. And, I guess, he saved my life and gave me a passion for sheep and a dream to chase. And I just, figured I can't change the past, but I can change the future. And try to be an inspiration, to others that, were made to feel helpless. And I don't want people to feel like I felt.
Right.
So hopefully my book will, if they are, that you're gonna make it, and don't let anybody beat you down. You have a dream and you go after it, and you'll make it. If I can make it, you can make it.
Yeah. I want to thank you for that response, Debbie. I just want to pause right here and just remind everybody that today it's all about the ebook. So if you are joining us and have not yet downloaded it, please, I just put the link in the chat again. It's really easy to remember. It's bit.ly/shepherdess25. It is on the screen. Just click on the link. It will take you to the Amazon Kindle page, and you can download the book for $3.99. The goal is to make sure that this book gets on the bestseller list and the hot new release list, so that it can be available, all across the world. And if you do, and when you do, please drop a note as you're on live and you come on to let us know that you have purchased your book, so that we can enter you into this drawing. There are going to be 2 giveaways. We have a merchandise product from Debbie's, all new merchandise around this book. And then we're giving away 1 free copy of the book itself. So as you download the ebook, please come back, drop a note in the chat and say, I got mine. All right. So that we can make a list. So far, I have a few people named on the list, but if you don't drop your name in the chat, I won't know that you purchased it. All right. So we want to make sure that that is happening. So Debbie, I want to just ask a couple of questions. The book title is called A Shepherdess. Tell us,
Yes.
what does that mean? What does it mean, a shepherdess, right? Because when I think about shepherdess, I'm thinking of the Bible days, right? And that's like 2,000 years ago. That's like 2,000 years ago. So tell us what it means right now to be a shepherdess.
Well, you kind of have to be a jack of all trades. But I would say the first thing is you have to have like a true love and compassion for animals. You must have good husbandry skills in knowing, the requirements of any livestock that you have. Sheep is of course my thing, but you have to have the knowledge of the requirements that they need to stay healthy and survive. You have to have strong decision-making skills, in their life or death situations. You have to have a willingness to work all hours. Like 2 o'clock in the morning when they're having babies and it's 20 below zero out, you have to get out of bed and go out in the barn and and take care of them. You don't want to get out of a warm bed and go do that, but you have to be 100% dedicated to them, and know what their needs are and be able to provide for them, and just have a lot of endurance. You have to be physically strong. You have to have a strong heart because you see life and death, but a genuine love for animals and sheep. And some of them have just been my best friends over my life. And a lot of people don't realize that, but sheep are, they're all different. They're kind of like people. They all have different personalities. Some are really intelligent and some not so much, but they don't trust humans, naturally. But if you make friends with them and show them trust, you'll have that bond with them forever. It's just like Fred that I, do my live videos with. He was an orphan that I, saved in a frozen snowbank on another farm I was babysitting for. And, he's almost 5 years old and he hasn't forgotten it. You can see in the videos, he's like right there in my face and he just loves me to death. He's never forgotten, that I saved his life. And they're just sweet animals and fun to be with, but it's my life. To me, there's no other life.
Yeah.
I was meant to be.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to do.
What is it?
What made you choose the breeds that you work with? I am fascinated by that because, as you said, their personalities are very different and breeds are just so very different. I have my personal favorites and, everybody does.
Yes.
So what drew you to the breeds that you represent?
Well, the Dorsets are some people nickname me, they call me Miss Dorset, which I'm honored to. When I was little, I used to look at sheep magazines. I mean, when I was really young, like 7, 8 years old, I would look through sheep magazines and, see pictures of them and just thought they were the most beautiful sheep and, admired the big breeders out here in the Midwest and wanted to be like them someday. And so I just thought they were the prettiest breed. And, as I got older, I saved up some money and bought, one from a really nice lady in Pennsylvania, Ann Staver. And I did well with them. And they're just so beautiful when they're highly presented and fitted, and their personalities are really sweet and they're very popular. And I just think they're the prettiest breed of sheep, and they're the only breed of sheep that naturally lambs in the fall. And they're really good mothers and milkers and just really sweet personalities. So I've been with Dorsets for over 60 years.
Wow.
It's my
What is
favorite. That's my
I was going to ask you, Debbie, what is it like a day in the life of a shepherd? So you wake up in the morning and you go to where they are. What do? Do do you wash them? Do you comb their hair? Do you clean their ears? Do you put oil on their body? And then after you tell us that, tell us what is it like when you show the sheep? And then we'll get back into the story a little bit more.
Oh, so your first sentence, what is it like to get up in the morning and go out in the barn?
Yeah.
Some nights we don't go to bed.
Wow.
You don't go to bed. You're up in the barn. Like at my Sugarloaf flock back in Maine, we were running about 300 brood ewes, mothers, and we'd get, some nights 20 to 30 baby lambs.
Wow.
And it's 30 below zero out, regular temperature. Wind chill is like minus 40 or 50. So there were a few nights, of course, we had a beautiful big barn and a heated nursery, but we only kept that like at 30 degrees because the temperature change was too much. But, we pulled several all-nighters, during the heavy times of lambing. You don't want to get out of bed and come down in the barn at 6 a.m. and see frozen dead baby lambs because, no one was there to help them and the mom couldn't care for them in time because of the cold. So, we spent a lot of nights and we had a nursery set up where about 15 moms had their own pens, individual pens where they would bond with their moms for about 5 days. And then they, like I said, it was about 30 degrees temperature, enough so the baby lambs, could survive. And then they would get graduated back out to the barn. But, feeding, of course, you feed morning and night. That's another thing, a shepherd I've always held in my mind. I never ate my meals until my sheep had their meals first. And I still do that. They eat first and then I eat after. So, we feed everybody, get their grain, their hay, and their water, fresh bedding, make sure everybody's healthy and happy, and doing okay. And showtime is very different. Of course, that's another whole world where you start weeks ahead of time before you take them to a show and get their wool cut down. So it's called cutting out, where we give them a shape for show. And then about a week before the show, they're washed with really warm water and Dawn dish detergent. It makes them really white. Really white. And then we cover them with show blankets to keep them clean. And then we spend hours hand trimming their fleeces so they look like white velvet. So hours and hours. We spend, 2 to 3 hours per session, 2 or 3 times a week on each sheep that we take to show. So it's very highly detailed, intensive work with the show sheep. So, just a lot of daily care, a lot of daily attention. You're pretty much married to them, in the show world. It's not something you do when you have time or on the side. You have to be completely dedicated to them 24/7.
Wow.
To make sure they survive. It's a lot of work, a lot of dedication. So if you don't like it, you're in big trouble. Mm-hmm. It's like dairy farmers. They have to milk their cows morning and night. They can't take off for a couple of days, morning and night. It's farming life. You have to be very dedicated.
Yeah. It reminds me, as you're talking about the sheep, all I can think about was the love of God for his children. That's all the thing that's coming in I'm thinking about David, as one of the great shepherd, and how, many years he spent just tending to the sheep and making sure that they're fine and making sure that they're always oiled so that stuff doesn't go into their ears. I mean, as you're talking, I'm like picturing how much God loves us, It's incredible to and this is your living, this is your job, which is amazing. All right.
Yes.
So now we understand the whole thing about being a shepherd. We want to get into the story. All right. Debbie,
Okay.
do you have a portion of your book that you want to read for us? I'd love to hear it. And again,
I
and just to give me a second, and for everybody that's watching, if you're new, we are talking to Debbie Joe, the author of the book A Shepherdess Beaten But Never Broken. This is a true story of her life, and this is an incredible book. And so we want you to download the book. The link is in the chat, and you can see it on the bottom of the screen. It's $3.99 today between 1 and 2 p.m. Eastern Time and 12 and 1 p.m. Central Time. We want you to go and download and support this book so we can get it on the bestseller list. So, Debbie, I'll turn it back over to you to read a part of your book.
Okay. So I have a chapter. It'll take me not quite 4 minutes to read it, if that's okay. It's just a 2-pager.
Okay.
It's chapter 32, and it's called As the Chair Turns. And just to give you a little overview, I was hired to judge the largest livestock show in the world in Louisville, Kentucky. It's an extreme honor, of a lifetime. And this was my first year judging down there. And something happened while I was there. And keep in mind a little background. I hadn't seen my mother and father for, probably close to 20 years. So this is the chapter As the Chair Turns. One of the greatest honors for a livestock breeder is to be nominated by other breeders and subsequently contracted to serve as a professional judge. Over the past 30 years, I've held many judging positions on the East Coast and received more requests from other regions. I was hired to judge a national breed show and sale at Penn State University, a large regional show in Seattle, Oregon, as well as a regional show in Baltimore, Maryland. I was contracted to judge a show in New Hampshire, Missouri, and Tennessee, all within the same week. During that particular week, I evaluated over 1,000 sheep. I love judging my shows and consider it a great honor. On my bucket list was to be invited to judge at the world's largest livestock show, North American, in Louisville, Kentucky. Sure enough, I received a written invitation to serve as a judge. I flew into Louisville the day before the show, readying for my task at hand the following day. The sheep shows are held in 2 beautiful, large show rings side by side in the convention center, which is a huge convention area, all indoors. The center is beautifully decorated with bright white picket fences surrounding the show ring, lots of rows of chairs and bleachers. And the sheep are shown on specially dyed bright green shavings to give the appearance of elegance and pomp and circumstance for this show. The official commentator was introducing the judges just minutes before the show started. He was pinning my judge's ribbon on my blouse and reading my credentials, and I listened so proudly. And all of a sudden, I saw something catch my attention to my left. And I stood up. I saw a woman stand up and turned her chair so the back was facing my ring. And there's hundreds of chairs, lines of them. And I see this woman turning the chair so her back is to my ring. And I thought to myself, what an odd thing to do. The profile of the woman looked familiar. It was my mother.
My God.
I was stunned. I was stunned to see her at that event, since I had never known her or my father to ever attend or compete there. Out of the several rows of chairs facing the ring, her chair was the only one facing the opposite direction. It was grossly obvious that she would not face my ring. After over 20 years, she still could not stand to look at me and acknowledge that her daughter had accomplished professional judging status. I was deeply saddened by her lack of respect in such a public venue during the significant moment for me. I glanced over to the ring of the other judge judging in his ring, and I heard his wife bragging to those sitting next to her, "That's my husband. I'm so proud of him." I thought about how great that would have felt to have my parents whisper to someone next to them, "That's my daughter. We're so proud of her." I longed to hear those words, but deep inside I knew I never would. It was a very heart-wrenching moment of sadness wrapped in deep pain in my heart. With a quick scan of the crowd and other hundreds of spectators, I spotted my father seated far away. I kept my chin up while embracing the joyful task ahead of me for this day. I did not let my mother's humiliating act embarrass me or rattle my nerves. I performed my judging duties with professionalism and joy, a position that I had earned for over 30 years to be there that day. Only a handful of women have had the distinction of judging at the international show level, and I'm proud to say I was invited back to judge there 3 more times, and a 4th time as a national fraternity judge. After that event, I never saw my parents again.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So you hadn't seen them for 20 years, and after that, you never saw them again.
No.
My Lord.
And in front of hundreds of spectators, to see her get up, and turn her chair to her back to my ring. Oh, I was crushed. It killed me.
Yeah.
Killed me.
Wow. Wow. But you survived and you had amazing successes. So talk about the positive things, the beautiful things that came out of all of this pain.
Oh my gosh, a lot. I guess a good summarization.
Yeah.
I was strong in the broken places.
Yeah.
I was strong in the broken places. Luckily, God had his arms wrapped around me. And I had that passion and dream in my heart that I was going to be a shepherd and I was going to raise sheep no matter what.
Right.
And that's what, pushed me through. And I was able to meet some wonderful people throughout my life. I'm sure many, are watching today that uplifted me and believed in me and told me, you can do this, Deb, and believed in me and showed me great love and friendship and helped me through to realize my dream and my passion.
So tell us about some of your wins. Tell us about some of your wins, Deb, that you have won, some of the championships and things that you have won.
Oh, as gosh. One of them, which is in my book, the title of the chapter is An Invitation to Toronto. I was 16 years old. This was one of the greatest memories still in my life. One of the biggest Dorset sheep breeders in Canada hand wrote a letter and mailed it to me and invited me to fly to Toronto, Canada and help her trim and show her sheep at the Canadian Nationals, the Royal Winter Fair in Toronto, Canada. So, at 16 years old, I was thrilled and I was able to go. She paid my expenses and bought me a plane ticket. And I helped her get her sheep ready, fit them and showed them. And at the end of the day, I won the Canadian National Champion U for her. And we were back at our pens, and this is all in my book, this chapter. And we see this swarm of people coming towards us, and people are holding cameras up high like press do with the movie stars and clicking cameras and this big buzz of people, this beehive of people's coming towards us. And all of a sudden, this stately looking gentleman comes up to us out of this crowd, and it's Prince Philip.
Wow.
From England. He goes to this show almost every year because of course he has horses and that, and he has a great love for livestock, and it's, the Canadian Nationals. And so he goes to the show every year and watches, the cattle and the sheep and the horses. And he came over to our pens and shook the owner's hand and then shook my hand, and he said, "Congratulations, ma'am. You did fabulous today." So it was Prince Philip.
So great.
I know, at 16 years old. And the next day they had a sale. It's called the Sale of Stars, where they sell all the national champions. The next day are sold at public auction, so other farms can purchase some really elite genetics. And the sale manager asked me that evening if I would be their honorary sheep queen for them in the Sale of Stars the next day, and lead in each national champion in the sale block to auction off. And he said, "Oh, by the way, Deb, Prince Philip is going to be at the sale too, watching."
By the way.
That was a huge start for me, when I was 16. And that, those are memories that I'll never forget. They were just the best.
I love it.
Yeah, that was something.
All right. So far we have Charmaine that made a purchase. We have Tammy Clausen that made her purchase. We have Ruth Ann Knowles that said she purchased 3, one for herself, one for her, I think she said daughter-in-law and her daughter. So thank you so much, Ruth Ann. If you have purchased the book during this period of time that we have been live, please drop your name in the chat and let me know that you got yours. Angela, all right. Angie just got hers. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to take a little bit of break. We're going to show you the video one more time, the trailer, and then we're going to come back and ask some other questions before we wrap this up. All right. Share this broadcast out, tag your friend, because this is an incredible story. So here we go with the trailer.
Escaping abusive parents, she ran away from her family's farm as a teen, then began raising her own prize-winning sheep. For decades, her father was bent on making her fail, but she never gave up. Even after losing everything, she rose from the ashes. An inspirational story about making your dreams come true through grit, determination, passion, and faith. A Shepherdess Beaten, but Never Broken, by Debbie Jo Holmquist.
Awesome. All right. So Angie bought her book. Nadine bought her book. Mary Castonway.
Oh, thank you, Mary.
Mary. And let me just put Nadine Brown on the screen. Thank you guys. And Angie Mitchell says, I got mine. Awesome. And Charmaine said that trailer is awesome. It really is. All right, we have a few questions, and I'm going to turn it over to my partner, Leslie, to ask some other questions of Deb.
Well, one thing I wanted to say is it is true that this book takes you to a very deep and dark place emotionally. It's difficult to read. You bond with Debbie immediately, so it's difficult to read some of these things. But it's equally important to note that there is such beautiful humor sprinkled throughout this book. When we say you will laugh and you will cry, and you will laugh and you will cry, it's no exaggeration. And sometimes you're doing both. Literally, there were times when I was sniffing and laughing at the same time. And that's a true testament to who you are. And a lot of the people that are watching today may not know that I have the benefit of knowing Deb when she was just a little girl. We were buddies when we were in 3rd and 4th grade. And then life separated us, and then Debbie found me again. This is a true testament to not only who she is now, but who she always was. If someone asked me, what do you remember about Debbie? I would tell you she was a goofball, just like I was. We got into stupid fun, stupid trouble together because we were just a couple of goofy kids. And I would tell you that she has the most beautiful heart for not just animals, but people. True blue, beautiful heart. That's what I always remembered about her. And that comes through in the book. And your humor comes through in the book. And it shows a great way of how you survived and thrived because you never lost that humor. Yeah. And so I take my hat off to you. I've told you this many times, but I'll probably tell you this for the rest of our lives. How much I honor how you embraced and made the best of everything that you were always going through.
Thank you.
And before I totally lose it, I'll ask you a couple questions. If you were to distill your book down, what would you say the very essence of a shepherdess beaten but never broken is?
Well, I pray that it's inspiration. That it touches hearts, people that, have been beaten down and made to feel worthless and told you'll never be anything. My hope and prayer is that somebody will read it and say, oh my gosh, there is hope. I can be what I want to be, and be inspiring, excuse me, being, inspirational to people that you can be what you want to be. My father spit in my face the day I ran away from home and told me I would never be anything and I would never raise a sheep again without his help. And that day I left with a half a bag of clothes and $8 in pennies. And I made it. And so if I can make it, you can make it. There's always hope. You trust the plan that God has for you because he does have a plan. And trust your passion and your dream. And it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a tough road. You're going to get knocked down. But you keep a positive attitude and keep that in your heart and a will, like a will to live and be happy, and it'll come true. Like I said, it took me 25 years or more, and then there's chapters in the book that you will read where I got knocked back down to ground zero again real hard. Yeah. I won't give it away, but everything that I loved and lived for 25 years into my journey, I lost.
Right.
And I was at ground zero again at 50 odd years old. And I somehow dug myself back out. I wanted to live, not just exist and be happy. And I still had that dream in my heart. And so started all over once again. And I made it. So you can make it.
You got your
light.
You're never too old to start over.
You got that second win, Debbie.
Yeah.
What's that?
You've had more than a second wind. You've had probably 4 wins.
Yeah. Oh, I think so. I'm like a cat with 9 lives.
And I'm glad that you talked about what you left your home with. $8 in change. So you weren't an inheritance child who could fall back on a reserve. You literally left with not even enough money to fill your tank with gas, even back then. So
No.
that is one of the things that I think should be so inspiring to others, to know that you literally can build yourself up into your dream, starting out with nothing, with hard work.
I remember I went, well, after I left home, this is all in the book too. I slept in a barn in a hayloft for 3 nights. I didn't even have a place to live. And I remember going to the grocery store to get some food, and, I had to put some items back because I had $8. I didn't have enough for food. And so, I started at ground zero and got a waitressing job, and right away, and, started earning some money. But so, my purpose is that I hope I touch as many people as I can. I want them to be inspired and touch their heart. And it's, my story, I didn't write it to be like a sad story, oh, poor Deb, because a lot of people go through some bad stuff and have made it, wonderfully. I wrote this story to touch other people and inspire other people in a feel-good story that, by golly, life is good. You've got a life, you take it, you run with it. You have a dream and a passion, you run with it. And I want them to finish the last chapter and go, yes, I can do this. Life is good. I can do this.
Yeah. Yep. In many ways, it is definitely a feel-good story. So I have one more question, but before that, I just want to remind everyone, if you've not downloaded the ebook yet, that's what we're all about here during this hour, is to support Deb. Use that link, which is bit.ly/shepherdess25. Use that link, download the book, and then come back and tell us that you've downloaded the book, because Debbie's got a couple of goodies that she's going to give away to those of you that get the book today.
Yeah.
So I want to know, what is next for you, Deb?
Oh, so I have one more sentence that I just love, this phrase that I love. Champions aren't made on pedestals. They're made in the trenches.
That's beautiful.
That is great. That is great.
So my husband keeps telling me at night that he wants me to write another book called, get a load of this, Zombie Sheep. Really?
Oh my God.
Oh, goodness. You write it, I'll type it. But I am thinking about writing another one. Might have something to do with sheep. Imagine that. And so, because it's been very therapeutic, writing. It really has. It's fun, and with support like Victoria's U Press, how could I not? You guys have given me such an inspiration, and the love and support that you have enlightened and supported me, that I can do this again.
Yeah.
You guys have the wind under my wings. So, and then I'm still showing my sheep. I still have my sheep, and still showing, going after it, going to some state fairs, going to the nationals in Louisville every year, still chasing those banners. And I'm doing some speaking engagements. I've got some booked already for the next 2 or 3 weeks, which is going to be really fun. Some presentations and inspirational speeches and book signings. And so, I'm going to be working real hard at that, and, just kind of hoping to spread my word that you can do good in your life, and show my sheep and enjoy my farm. And
well, we're glad that you're thinking of writing another book, because the world needs to hear more from you, Deb. You are a gifted writer.
You are.
Oh,
The world needs to hear more from Debbie Jo.
Yes, the world does.
Thank you.
All right, let's give away 2 gifts. Let's give away 2 gifts because we're coming down to the last 5 minutes. So let's give away 2 gifts. I'm going to let Leslie give the gifts away between Leslie and Debbie.
I didn't write everybody's name down.
Oh, I wrote it down.
You.
Charmaine says my face hurts from smiling. You know, Charmaine was the editor. This is our amazing editor who edited this book, who is just absolutely awesome. So congratulations to you, Charmaine. Yeah.
Charmaine deserves a crown. A crown. We all do, but Charmaine gets a crown. The best editor in the world. I'm not just saying that because she did my book. Her work is masterful. Masterful. She brought life to my story, sprinkled gold dust on it. When she sent it back to me after she edited it, I'm like, oh my gosh, how she enlightened it. And she is an angel, the best there is.
Yeah. All right. So we have the names. We have Charmaine, we have Tammy, we have Ruth Ann, we have Angie, we have Nadine, we have Mary. And did anybody else download the book and you did not hear your name? If you're still on and you downloaded the ebook and did not hear me call your name, please drop it in the chat that you got yours so we can put you in this raffle. We're giving away 2 books. We're giving away 2 gifts. One is a merchandise from Debbie's store. She's going to have t-shirts and mugs and hats and things of that nature on her website, her brand new website, in her brand new store online. Okay, so it's not just the book, it's merchandise too. Queen Esther, say, hey, Queen Esther, how are you, my friend? Queen Esther just purchased the book. All right. I don't know if Bates Farm made a comment, but I'm not sure if they downloaded the book.
Yeah, they said they got both.
They got both? Okay, beautiful. So now we have Charmaine, Tammy, Ruth Ann, Angie Mitchell, Nadine Brown, Mary. I don't want to mess up your name, Mary, but you know who you are. Bates Farm, Miss Bates, Jill just said got both. Thank you so much, Jill. And Queen Esther also. So we need to give away one for the merchandise, one for the book. I think so. You guys choose.
You choose.
I scrolled through really quickly, and Nadine was where my little scroll stopped. So Nadine is my choice.
All right. So Nadine is a merchandise or book?
What do you think, Deb? You choose.
I think probably merchandise because Nadine just did the ebook. Or we can give Nadine the book itself, the paperback book.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So to Nadine Brown, you get a copy of the actual paperback book. So thank you for downloading the ebook. You're also going to get a free copy of, she said book would be nice. A free copy of the paperback book that you can scroll. You can sit in your couch and read it. You are going to absolutely love it. You're going to absolutely love it. So thank you. Thank you so much. And then we want to give away either a mug. I would say a mug, Deb, because, people like mugs, right? So I am going to choose Ruth Ann Knowles. Ruth Ann, we are going to send you a copy of not a copy. We are going to send you, ship to you, one of the mugs. And I think it has a sheep on the mug and like a little farm. It's beautiful. I don't have a picture of it, but Deb will be able to show you that. So Nadine said, we were in the same school as girls. Very glad she dared to write this. Oh, that is so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Nadine. We appreciate you for saying that. So yay, Ruth Ann, you get the mug. And Nadine, you get a copy of the book. Well, Deb, we have come to the end of this broadcast. 2 p.m. And I just want to give you an opportunity to say the last words. Any takeaway for our audience as we close this out? And remember, guys, you can share this broadcast if you have friends and colleagues and family members that need to go and download this book, because you heard she read her, a couple of paragraphs from her book. It is poignant. It is incredible. And you're going to absolutely love this book. So keep downloading. All right. Keep downloading the book. We have all day today and into tomorrow for us to get on the bestseller list. And we want to make sure that this book gets there. So I'm going to turn it back over to Deb. She's going to give us a takeaway or her last words. And then we're going to close out this broadcast, this book launch. Go ahead, Deb. Take it away.
Oh, thank you so much. Again, dear Joan, you're the owner and president, everything of Victorious U Press. You guys are amazing, and there's no other publishing company out there to even consider. Your support and love and guidance is immeasurable. Dear Leslie, I love you dearly, always have. You helped me so much and believed in me, and I adore you so much. And dear Charmaine, you know how much I love and adore you and respect you all so very much. To all my friends and family that are watching this, thank you so very much for buying my ebook, and check out my website, www.debholmquist, HOLMQUIST.com. And thank you again, everyone, so much. Survival is not glamorous, but you will make it, and you can make your life glamorous and be happy, and keep your dream, keep your passion. And I wish the best for you, and I hope my book touches your heart. I really do. Thank you, everyone, so much. Thank you.
That's a beautiful way to end this broadcast. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Thank you to Leslie. Thank you to Debbie. Debbie, thank you for pouring out your heart. Thank you that you never kept the story inside. Thank you for having the courage to share the story for such a time as this. Now was the time. It wasn't 10 years ago. It wasn't 20 years ago. Now is the perfect time for this book. The fact that we are living in a world that seems heavy, the fires in California, people taking their lives, people just dropping dead. It is the perfect book to spread hope and inspiration that no matter how broken your life is, that you can find the strength and the power and the reserve on the inside to turn it all around. And that is what this book is all about. So again, thank you for watching. Love all of you guys. Thank you for the support, and watch my page to know when Debbie's book make the bestsellers list. All right. Bye guys. Keep downloading. We love you, Debbie. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Love you. Thank you.
Thank you for trusting Victorious U Press to bring the story to life. We are proud of you and we appreciate you. Thank you so much, Ruth Ann. Ruth Ann said, Joan, those are wonderful words. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Bye, guys. Bye for now.
Bye.